Hey guys, whew, it's been a while. I know that, and I'm sorry. But let me tell you why. I have been in the hospital. And by in the hospital, I mean in the hospital giving birth to my twins. So, like I said, I in the last video, I mentioned that I would try to be posting. Um, I was shooting for every week, but it seemed like every other week was a little more convenient as far as everything was concerned. And I went to post last week, but on Wednesday I ended up being in the hospital and giving birth to the kids, so that didn't work out. So that's going to be this week's video. It's going to be all about my little, my crazy, very, very crazy birthing sequence, I should say. And it's not going to be super detailed, calm down. So if y'all don't want to hear nothing, then bye, turn it off. Um, So it is Wednesday, not January. Look at me get my kids' birthdays wrong already. February 22nd, double digits, yes, super cute. And it's like 3 in the morning, right? So, sometime after midnight, actually, I had started getting really not like super bad pains, but I had been getting some pains. Um, Contractions is what I found out that they were later. And I had been passing gas, like pretty severe gas, for a while, so I thought these pains I was feeling was gas. I thought it was normal, just been eating real healthy, lots of foods that were creating a lot of gas for me, so I started, and I was actually passing gas as well, so I didn't think anything of it. And so, yeah, I started having those pains, and I had gotten up quite a few times over the night to go to the bathroom. So I hardly slept that night, actually. I was really tired. It's so funny because I was thinking about it, and I had been feeling like really weird the previous few days. Just not sleeping, kind of like groggy, just really off. And I had been mentioning that, like, I feel really off today, just, some anxiety here. The dogs had been acting really weird around me. It was like they knew I was going to go into labor or something. And, anyway, so, um, I was going through all the gas or whatever, and it had to have been about 5:45 around there, and I had gotten up again to go to the bathroom, and I was sitting there, and for whatever reason, I just felt like awkwardly comfortable on the toilet, and I went pee or whatever, and I sat there for a really long time because these what I thought were gas pains, um, were starting to get like kind of intense. I was a little bit like not worried, but like, man, like hurry up and poop or whatever it is that you have to do, body, so I can get rid of these pains. And so I went back to bed to lay down probably like around 6ish. It had to have been because I tried to lay down and I must have like snoozed for like a couple minutes, and then I felt like I had to go to the bathroom again. I was like, what the hell? So I roll over or whatever. It takes me a while to get up out of bed because I was so big. And I roll up out of bed and I sit up. I'm fine. But the second I stand up, all of like this, like not a lot, but like not enough to like run down my leg, but a lot of like some fluid came out. And it, like I said, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like overwhelming or anything. And it came out of me, and I was like, "What the hell? I just peed myself? Are you kidding?" Like I was literally pretty upset because kind of my personal goal throughout my pregnancy was to not pee myself. Like I hear women say, like I was in public and I peed my pants, like I just couldn't wait, the kid rolled over. So I was like, man, like these kids must be rolling over on my bladder pretty hard for me just to like drop water. So I was like, man, like, ugh, okay, whatever. So I go to the bathroom, just start cleaning myself up, and I sit down on the toilet again, and more fluid comes out, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what the hell? Like, I want to go to sleep. I'm tired. I don't want to pee myself at 6 in the fucking morning. It's gross. Like, whatever. And so I'm sitting there, and I remember the time because I had my phone with me. I looked down, and it was 6:14, and I was like, okay, still really early. Um, I had a doctor's appointment that day at 1 o'clock, so I didn't wanted to get some sleep before my doctor's appointment. Um, Ironically, the doctor's appointment was actually to check the amniotic fluid that was in my little girl's sac, because it was actually really low when I had gone to the ultrasound the week before. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have stuff to do today, whatever. And then these gas pains are just getting like pretty intense and pretty constant, like just flowing. And I didn't know what to think. I just swore they were gas pains. I did not think at all that they were labor pains. And so, or contractions, as some people know them as. And there was one that I remember that hit so hard that I like have like a windowsill right above, like right above to the right that I can reach if I'm sitting down the toilet. And then the end of the counter is right next to me, so it's like in a little box. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yawn. That was really rude. But anyways, this pain hit so hard that I grabbed him. Like I just like breached myself, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is starting to hurt. Like what's going on?" So I managed to like finish peeing because I actually had to pee. And then when I wiped, there was a little bit of blood, and that's when I got concerned. That's when I was like, "Oh my gosh, there's blood." I had been bleeding at the beginning of my pregnancy, so I was a little bit worried. And these pains just kept rolling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting more intense, they're getting closer, like why aren't they going away? So I'm sitting there and I'm like to the point where like I can't breathe. I'm like, oh my, oh, like, you know, like crying almost, you know. I'm like, oh my god, they hurt so bad, what's going on? So then finally I was like, okay, if you have one more pain, tell your mom, because I live here with my parents. So I was like, tell mom. And like one happened, and then another happened, and then finally I was like, okay, no more bullshit, and go tell my mom. So when I walked to my mom's room, my dad was actually getting up, so he kind of looked at me, and my mom was sleeping. I said, "Mama," and she woke up. I said, "Mama, I don't know what's going on, but I think I'm having contractions, and I went to the bathroom just now, and there was blood like on the tissue." And she's like, "Okay." So she gets up and she goes into our bathroom, and she looks, and she kind of because knowing that I had been bleeding before, so she looks, and she was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "How are you feeling?" And I'm like, "They just really hurt. I don't know if these are gas pains or whatever, but they hurt." And she goes, "Okay, well, you know," she wasn't really thinking anything of it either. And during this time being that I'm 29 weeks pregnant, I'm like not even like remotely close to my due date anyways. So I was like, it's too early. Like I'm getting kind of worried. Like I don't know if these are contractions or what's going on. And then so I told her, like, I went, you know, I stood up and the water came out, this and that. And I was like, I don't know if it was my water. I don't know if I just peed, but I don't know, Mom. I don't know. I'm kind of scared because there wasn't a lot of water that came out of me. And she didn't really know what to think either. So we started kind of going about our day, and I'm sitting on the couch, and they're just getting so painful. Like, I'm already crying by this point. And she goes, she tries to convince me to wait until 1 o'clock so I can see the doctor, and the doctor can tell me this and that. And then so she's like, okay, we'll go at 1 o'clock. By this time, it's like 6:30. It had to have been about 6:30. It happened so quick. And so I'm in there, and it's like getting closer. The contractions are getting closer and closer. And it was just to the point where I was like, I don't know. My mom's like, get dressed. We're going to the hospital. So I said, okay. So it's about 6:45 by now, and I'm trying to get dressed. And it hurts so bad. Like I'm trying. I can't bend over because my contractions are hurting so bad. I can't put my shoes on. She goes, Mija, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So we're out of the house literally no later than 7. Like I'm in tears. Mom's like, it's okay. It's okay. And she starts timing them. And by this time, they were clearly 5 minutes apart, like no problem. But they had started reaching like 2 and 3 minutes apart. So we get into the car and we start driving to the hospital. And the hospital it's about 45 minutes to an hour away. So I'm getting pretty scared. And my mom's asking me these questions like, are you opening up? Do you feel yourself opening up? You know, do you feel this? Do you feel that? And I had no idea what she was talking about. I don't know what that feels like. You know, they're my first children. And not only that, but all I could feel are these contractions that are just getting so bad. And I'm freaking out and I'm crying and I'm telling Sorry, I'm about to get really emotional when I'm telling the story because it was really scary. Um, so as I'm crying and I'm like, Mom, it's too early. I can't have these kids. They're too early. And she's trying to calm me down, and she's saying, Mija, it's okay. The doctors are gonna take care of them. If something happens, it's okay. They're gonna have to go in and stop your labor pains. This and that. And I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to be confident. But the thing is, my dad was driving so slow. My dad was like driving like 50, and like the speed limit 70, and he's just cruising. And my mom's going, okay, we gotta time your contractions now. We gotta keep timing them. So she's timing them, and they're like I said, they're hitting 2-3 minutes like apart. And my mom goes, we gotta get to the hospital. And I was like, Mom, I really don't want to have the baby in the car. Please don't let me have the baby in the car. So we finally get to the hospital, and my dad pulls up, and they get me in a wheelchair, and they push me in. And by this time, I'm like clutching, like I have no idea what's going on, but if I didn't know any better, I was crowning, like as I was getting in. And so they wheel me up. Everyone around me is literally taking their time, and I'm getting so frustrated, and I'm like screaming already by these contractions. And so the guy that actually pushed my wheelchair up to labor and delivery goes, okay, this is Felicia. She's 29 weeks pregnant. And he rolls his fucking eyes. This guy rolls his fucking eyes and goes, she thinks she's having a baby right now. And I wanted to fucking choke him. I wanted to choke him so bad. So the nurses are taking their time, and I'm like trying to breathe. I'm trying to get my mind right. Like, I'm like, people hurry up. My mom's behind me on the wheelchair now by this time. And she's going, it's okay, just keep breathing. You have to breathe, Mia. You have to breathe. And I'm like, Mama, it hurts. I don't know if I can do this. And I'm panicking. I'm starting to panic because by this time, I fucking knew, like, this kid's coming. And them being in 2 different sacks, one baby could come, and then, like, a week later, the next baby could come. It was so different. So, like, I knew Ava was coming out. And so they tell me, okay, so wheel her down to triage. And it's, like, this fucking long ass hall. And I'm like, oh my God, why is this happening? And so they ran me down to triage, and we wall in, and one of the nurses is with us, and she's going, okay, this is Felicia, 23 years old, blah, 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 29 years pregnant, yada, yada, yada. And she looks around, and there's like 3 beds in this little room. These are like for people who are like, I guess like ER, I don't know, it was such a small room. And she goes, well, I don't have any clean beds. And she goes, okay, well, go into this other room. And it was like right down the hallway a little bit further. She goes, just go in there and wait, and I'm going to get a bed ready. And I was like, okay. So I'm in there, and I'm like holding onto my purse. I'm shaking. I'm crying. I'm trying to keep calm. There's this lady sitting in the same room, just like on her phone. And she goes, oh, are you having a baby? I was like, I think so. If I didn't know any better, I think so. And she goes, oh, how far? Like trying to keep me calm, She goes, how far along are you? I said, I'm 29 weeks pregnant with twins, and this is my first pregnancy. And she's like, oh my gosh, like she kind of felt bad. And I finally, we're sitting there for what seems like fucking forever. It had to have been forever. I swear it had to have been. And I look up at my mom, and my mom's hands are on my shoulder, and I grab her hand, and I said, Mama, I have to push. I have to push. And she fucking sprints back down into the triage and was like, she has to push. Like, you guys need to fucking hurry up. So the nurse comes running out. She grabs my wheelchair, and she runs me back into triage. And she goes, okay, we have to get you undressed. And I can't even fucking stand. I'm like, are you serious? Now I have to get undressed? What the fuck? So I managed to get up. I go into the bathroom. Like, if I fucking knew this, I would have fucking just showed up naked. So so I get into the room, into the bathroom, and the nurse is with me. She goes, you want me to help you? I said, yes, please, because I don't know if I can stand. And she was like, okay. So she's in there. She's helping me get undressed. And she's asking me these questions, and, 29 weeks, this and that. I said, okay. So she was like, just leave your clothes. We'll figure it out. And she's like, do you have any allergies to any medications? I said, no, not that I'm aware of. She goes, okay. So they get me back, and they put me on this bed. They have me climb into this bed, and I couldn't even do it. I swear, like, everything was moving so slow around me, and I wanted this kid out. So they get me spread eagle, right? I'm on this bed, and the nurse, like, gets, like, the clamp, and it's, like, this clamp that measures, like, how far, like, dilated you are. And so she opens it up, like, expecting me to be, like, super small. And she looks at my vagina, and she's like, oh my God, I see hair. And I was like, my heart, boom, like right into my stomach, right? And I'm contracting and I'm like trying to be calm. She was just, everyone's telling me to just breathe. And she goes, I see hair. And she sticks the clamp in. Like, she still had to measure me. So she tries to stick it in as far as she can to measure me. And she's like, she's hardly dilated, but I can see hair. So they throw me off this bed back into the wheelchair, and they're running me down the opposite way that we came towards the front desk. And they're running by this time. And by this time, I'm literally screaming, like, you guys, please hurry. I have to push. I have to push. And I, like, managed to, like, get my legs, like, over the handles, the armrest of, like, the wheelchair. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm pushing. So, like, as they're wheeling me in to OR, that's where they took me to, an OR, I'm pushing. And I'm walking, and they have me on the chair. And I'm like, I'm pushing. I don't care. I'm pushing. So I start pushing. And they're like, don't push, please don't push. I was like, I can't help it. She's coming out. I can feel her. And I'm pushing. And so they get me up on the gurney or on the bed. And I'm like, like super like Hollywood mother pushing, because I didn't think I would be like that, but I was. So I'm pushing, I'm going, like screaming as I'm pushing. And they're like, stop pushing, stop pushing, stop pushing. There's no doctor in the room. I have nothing. I have no epidural, no IVs, nothing. And then I'm laying there and I'm like crying. And I'm like literally like, please let me push, please let me push. And I see my doctor walk in. And her name's Dr. Cassam. She's super awesome. And she goes, Mama, don't push. Mama, it's okay. Like, she's trying to keep me calm. My mom, in the middle of this, disappears. Like, I have no idea where she's at. And I'm freaking out because I needed my mom. Like, I wanted my mom there. If I didn't have my fucking mom there, I was about to freak out. And I was. And I was like, where's my mom? Where's my mom? I want my mom right now. Like, I sound so stupid. I'm 23 years old and I'm screaming for my mother. And so I look over to my left and my mom's there, and she's in this blue, the blue cap, gown, shoes, everything, right? And she's like, it's okay, I'm right here, I'm right here. I'm like, Mom, I'm scared. And she was like, it's okay, they're gonna take care of the babies. And I really was scared. I didn't know. All I knew was that it's too early. And I was like, it hurts, Mom, it hurts. And she's like, I know, Mia, just keep calm. They're gonna take care of you. I said, okay. So they moved me up onto the actual delivery bed, and that fucking sucked so bad. And I'm like, you guys, like, I'm like, no one's listening to me. There's chaos going on. Doctors are screaming at each other. The nurses are screaming. Nobody's answering each other, so they just keep repeating these questions that they're screaming. And it was to the point where I was answering them. They're going, any allergies? Any allergies? Like, they're yelling. And I'm like, I have no fucking allergies. Like, no, I have no allergies and nothing. Like, please just let me push. And they, like, I'm laying, and they close my legs. And that, when they closed my legs to keep me from pushing, was, like, the most fucking intense pain. And they were, like, literally had to hold my legs closed to keep me from pushing the kid out. And I was literally fighting. I was like, I am fucking pushing. I don't care. So they get me up, and they're, get an IV on here. Get an IV on here. So I'm like, my arms are out like I'm getting fucking crucified, like Jesus on the cross. And I'm just laying there knowing I was getting an IV. And they put my legs up and they said, push. I literally pushed twice. Like, I pushed twice and she was out. And the doctor was like, oh my God, right? So I'm pushing. And what was scary was that I still wasn't dilated enough. So when I pushed, clearly, like, everything opened up. So they had to, like, do a surgical procedure where they pretty much just cut my vagina open and the baby came out. And so she comes out and I'm like, instant relief. Like, cool, like, great, she's out. Chilling, right? I'm like, my adrenaline's going and I'm just exhausted. I'm beat. I feel zero pain at this time. Like, it went from like 100 to 0 so quick. So I'm just chilling. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to catch my breath, and I can hear my baby screaming. But my mom was nowhere to be seen. So I was like, where's my mom? Where's my mom? Like, I want my mom. And I can't see her, and I'm freaking out. And I can hear my baby. I was like, where's my baby now? Like, where's my baby? Where's my mom? Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. And so all of a sudden they go, we got to get the curtain up. We got to get the curtain up. And I'm like, the curtain? What the fuck do we need a curtain for? Like, privacy's gone. Like, everybody's seen my vagina at this point. And I'm laying there, and the lady's trying to put the IV on me. I'm trying to relax. And I'm still like, can I have my mom, please? Can I, like, see my mom? Like, I really just need to see my mom. And all of a sudden I feel them, like, painting my stomach. And they're prepping me for a C-section, which I did not know was going to happen. And so apparently during the time I was pushing, being so like just trying to get the kid out, they were doing an ultrasound on me. And when they were doing that, they were measuring Adrian, my second baby. And he was breached. So basically, like, my stomach moves this way, you know, just like up and down. And that's how he was sitting. He was sitting head to ass instead of feet to, or head to ass up and down. So he was going side to side. And they're not telling me anything. They just know that they have to get the baby out. And so they go, okay, we're going to get, the nurses are there, like, you're okay, you're fine. I'm going, where's my mom? Where's my mom? At this point, my mom is out of the fucking room. I didn't even know they took her out of the room. And so I keep asking for her, and I can hear my daughter screaming. Like, she's crying. Cool, she's crying. You know, as long as she's crying, she's breathing, right? So she was cool. I wasn't super concerned, but I said everything was happening so fast, I had no idea what was going on. So by this time, it has to be 8 o'clock because Ava was born at 8:01. And I heard them say that, you know, time of birth, 8:01. So we literally were out of the house by 7. And it's like an hour, 45-minute drive. And by 8:01, my daughter's born. So, like, that, like, it gives you, like, the time limit, like, from all the running around. Like, 15 minutes of literally running around. Like, 10, 15 minutes. And, like, 5 minutes of fighting with everybody before I can even push, right? So 8:01, like, that's literally the time limit. And so they start prepping me, and they're telling me, you're gonna get a C-section. And I said, okay. And they put a mask on my face, and they're like, just breathe. And I'm thinking it's oxygen, like, cool, getting oxygen. So I'm breathing, like, all deep, like, trying to suck in this oxygen. I'm getting lightheaded. And before you know it, I'm fucking out. I'm just knocked out. I didn't even know what happened. There was no countdown. There was no nothing. So I'm out. And I felt like I was honestly out forever because I even remember dreaming. I don't remember what I dreamt of, but I remember something orange. I was, you know, dreaming of something orange, like a monster, like nothing scary, but I was dreaming. And so then I hear, wake up, and I'm, you know, all groggy, and I'm starting to wake up. They're like, good, keep trying to wake up. And they're talking to me. They're like, hi, how are you? You know, do you know where you're at? This and that. And I said, yeah. Where are my babies? Are my babies okay? You know, and like, I don't feel anything. Like, the anesthesia was really good. I'm going to adjust here a little bit. Hold on. Okay, so, I haven't felt any pain at this point, so I, like, was completely, like, on, like, oh, you know, C-sections weren't that bad. I don't feel anything, you know? So, they go in and they tell me that I had a C-section and that they're in the NICU because they're premature. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. So they managed to get me out and everything else. And they're just trying to get me up and everything else. And they tell me that while I was giving birth, I lost a lot of blood. I had trachycardia, which is basically saying that my blood pressure was through the roof. I had really bad increased heart rate. And they had to give me some things to calm down my heart, keep me calm, and everything else. But meanwhile, while I was having the C-section, the baby was going through the same thing. So Adrian had really low heart rate, low everything, and was in a red zone. He was in a danger zone. So that's why they rushed so quick to get him out. Well, Adrian being so high up on my chest, instead of just moving the organs to get him, they had to take my organs out, like, while still connected, and take some of them out of my, like, my intestines and stuff to get Adrian out safely. And so the nurses feel terrible. Like, they're like, oh my God, this girl just had the craziest fucking experience, this poor thing. And they're wheeling me, and by now they're wheeling me into my room, and I can feel the pain. And, you know, I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying to just be like, okay. And I keep asking these nurses, like, are my babies okay? Are my babies okay? 10 fingers, 10 toes. I'm asking stupid ass questions. I'm apologizing for things that, you know, sorry you had to see my vagina. Like, I had no idea where the fuck I was. And, so yeah, like, that was pretty much how I gave birth. And there is a whole nother side of the story that I am going to post in a different video for you guys next week, because I just looked down and that was a 25-minute story for you guys. So that 25 minutes does not even count for the 3 hours that I was in labor. But on the plus side, it is now Tuesday the 28th. I was discharged on Sunday, and my kids are doing great. They are developing fairly normal. There's no health complications, other than pretty basic ones that preemies go through, um, like I forgot what it's called, but and the code that they use is called Brady, which basically means that the kids have heart murmurs, which means that their heart rate like speeds up and it stops, or it slows down and it stops, and or they like just can't remember to breathe sometimes, and they have to kind of like wake them up by patting them on the butt or on the foot to get their heart rate going again, get their breathing going again. Um, they are moving on up pretty quick, so hopefully they come out really good. Those heart murmurs go away. And it's just one day at a time now. So them being born at 29 weeks, they did a little bit of assessment, and they found out that, just kind of like measuring them, this and that, that they're actually at 31 weeks, give or take. So they are hoping to release them by 35 weeks. So now, if they were 31 when they were born, that means they're 32 now, which is good because it's closer to them getting out. They were born, each were 3 pounds, give or take a few ounces. So, like, I want to say, like, Ava was 3 pounds 2 ounces, and Adrian was 3 pounds 5 ounces. And the same thing with their length and stuff. See, I never got to find out any of those specifics because of everything the way it happened and not being able to be next to my kids. So they were about 14 inches, or 14 and a half inches or something like that. So they were pretty good size for their ages, they said. But yes, I will continue this story, and I hope you guys stay tuned. And thank you for watching if you watched the whole thing. If you still have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And yeah, and I can answer them, and we can just get this blog going. I know it wasn't as expected as the whole pregnancy thing, being that it was cut kind of short. So yeah, so if you have any questions, anything, follow me and leave them hanging, and I'll get to them. So thanks for watching, guys.